Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It's so inspiring to see a lot of folks have joined, and that is more or less a inspiration for myself and a push for me to do better. Have a great webinar for all the participants here. Okay. So we have almost crossed 30 plus participants on our Zoom webinar. Not sure how many of us are here on LinkedIn, but I hope I'm visible. I hope I'm audible as well. And I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Let me hide my floating screen. Okay. Shall we begin, Apurva? Is that okay? Shall I begin? Is everyone
Yes,
all right?
yes, you can start.
Okay, great. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It's a bit of a cold, not that much cold, but a bit of a cold. 11 a.m. morning in Pune right now. Here I am in Pune, India. And I hope you guys are joining from different parts of India, different parts of the world, different parts of your countries. And I hope you guys are having a great time. It's a bit of a nerdy early morning for me as well, and for my participants here from India as well, because we are kind of learning about the whole realm of automated testing with HeadSpin. The whole part of seamless integration in the DevOps CICD pipeline of any workplace, any workflow across the development of your applications and your websites, right? Web browsers per se. To begin with, let me introduce myself. Let's take to the next slide. Yeah. So my name is Saurabh Malki. I am a solutions and product consultant and offering consultant here at HeadSpin, headspin.inc. We are a user experience evaluation, testing, monitoring platform as HeadSpin. What we do is we deploy your applications, your web browsers, your IoT applications, your infotainment systems as well on our platform, and we test every critical user journey that a certain user will go ahead on your applications or your platforms, and then give you a complete comprehensive view of everything that is going on in your application, right from different issues, right from different KPIs, almost 130 plus KPIs what we measure, and also custom KPIs what we measure for your application, and give you a comprehensive and a detailed view of everything that is going on your applications in terms of the user experience, right? Just take an example. I'm not going to go very deep into what we do as a product, but just take an example of WhatsApp application, right? You take the WhatsApp application, the primary critical user journey that a user uses for WhatsApp is opening the application, searching for a number or searching for a user, sending a message, coming out of the chat window, and maybe scrolling to the chat window and closing the application, right? That's a critical common user journey anybody uses WhatsApp for, right? But what if you face a certain problem across these user journeys on your application? Imagine when you're trying to send a message to your dear loved ones, the app suddenly crashes, right? That's a bummer. And you don't want to face these crashes all the time, every time you open the WhatsApp application, right? Now, what you do, you want to understand as a developer, as a tester, as a SARI person, as a product manager, you want to understand why this particular crash is occurring on your application. And it may not be completely visible from your code or source code of your application, right? What you want to do is understand the whole functionality, the performance, and the whole, dependency of your application on the code that it has been built on, right? You dig deep into the application and understand the whole root cause of the issue that is leading to the crash of your WhatsApp, right? You deploy this particular application on HeadSpin platform. We test it for you. We monitor its performance, and then we give you a comprehensive understanding around the whole RCA of this particular issue, and help you know that, okay, this is the reason for your application crash, and this is how you may be able to solve it, right? I hope that was clear. I hope there are no more questions here. If there are any questions, please do feel free to put them on the chat window. My friend here, Apuro, will take care of those questions, and I'll help you answer those questions as well, right? And okay, introducing myself, I have been a part of HeadSpin for about a year now. Previously to HeadSpin, I was part of KPIT Technologies, more or less into automotive software development and testing. Right now, I'm a part of the solutions and offering team, wherein I create a lot of solutions for my end customers and help them understand how HeadSpin will solve a lot of problems for their products. Right. Moving ahead. Today's webinar topic: automated testing with HeadSpin. Seamless integration in DevOps and CI/CD pipeline. To understand everything about this particular topic, I'll like to take you from the basics of it, right from understanding the DevOps and what exactly is CI/CD. I understand that you guys are the experts of CI/CD and DevOps. If in case you are coming from that particular arena or that particular role or responsibility in your own organization, but a brief about what these role have, what responsibilities they play in a certain organization, and then we'll take the understanding of the role of automated testing in DevOps and CI/CD, right? We have seen a lot of automation happening in the development processes of DevOps and CI/CD, but have we seen automated testing in DevOps and CI/CD pipeline? Let's understand that in our webinar today. Next is we'll take you across how HeadSpin plays a vital or a permanent or amazing role across the CI/CD pipeline, and helps you understand or helps you get a view of every stage of CI/CD pipeline and where exactly HeadSpin plays its role, right? Then you have HeadSpin and automation testing tool integrations. What kind of automation, autonomous and automation tools that we integrate with, and how that picturizes, how that plays out. And then we will have a quick Q&A session. We have crossed the 7 minutes or 8 minute mark, and then we won't take a lot of your time as well. Let's begin with the first and the foremost slide. Okay, this is a brilliant view. Understanding DevOps and CI/CD. Now, at a crude level, at a basic level, what exactly is DevOps? It's the combination of software development that normally occurs in any workflow, any organization, with the IT operations for efficient delivery of products or the services that you are providing to your end customers, right? What exactly, or rather, basically understanding DevOps or even continuous integration, continuous deployment is essential in the modern landscape of software development, right? DevOps is set of practices that combines software development, dev part of it, and IT operations with the primary goal of shortening the life cycle of development and providing continuous delivery with high software quality. Now, when I say continuous delivery with high software quality, we have seen the advancement of technology in a lot of years right now, and the expectations from all of these technologies have also increased. Your end customers want your products to deliver seamless experience as well, and those experiences they want in less time. I don't want my messages system on WhatsApp to lag for 3 to 4 seconds to deliver, right? That's a bad user experience. Even 3 to 4 seconds is a bad experience. Imagine how people are reacting to a certain slow or laggy or a crashy application in that case, right? This particular DevOps or CI/CD pipeline, it fosters a culture of collaboration and communication between developers and operations teams, right? Developers are working across their own timelines, and operations people are working across their own timelines. But the collaboration between these two teams is vital for any organization for developing products and delivering these products at a fast pace to their target markets, right? That's where DevOps comes into picture, right? We kind of, these particular roles, it breaks down silos and improves agility at the core of it, right? DevOps integrates various practices like agile development, right? A lot of us must have heard of agile development and continuous testing and automation to create an environment where building, testing, planning, releasing, deploying, and operating becomes the basic part of everything, right? And all of these basic parts can happen rapidly, frequently, and more reliably, right? You don't want your operations to slow down at the end of the day, because if you want your applications to fasten, DevOps is the answer for you, right? This methodology does not only speeds up your development processes, but it also aligns it closely with business objectives, right? At the end of the day, your business wants revenue, your business wants cash flow, and that's something DevOps ensures for your organization, right? And it kind of helps you enhance the overall quality of your products or efficiency of your software production as well. To be honest, CI/CD, on the other hand, is a methodology approach under the DevOps umbrella itself, right? And it focuses on frequent, automated, and reliable software delivery, right? Continuous integration involves automatically testing and integrating code changes into a single shared repository, and as soon as they are made, right? Imagine today you are developing some piece of your software for a product, and then you integrate this particular piece of software into your repository. And the moment you integrate this particular software part or small software element into your repository, it continuously or it directly goes into the testing part of everything, right? It continuously gets tested and continuously gets deployed and integrated into your product, right? No matter what part of software you are operating or deploying, it directly gets integrated into your software, and then it kind of easily gets in as a part of your product for your end customers to have use of it, right? To make use of it. This practice minimizes integration conflicts and bugs for encouraging developers to merge their changes frequently, right? Again, the moment you deploy a certain software part piece into your repository, it kind of increases efficiency of your entire development processes, right? It kind of removes the bugs part of it. It kind of helps you minimize the whole conflict of having issues every time you code a certain piece of your application or product, right? So again, it's a continuous deployment extensively of CI ensures that every change that passes the automation test is automatically deployed in the production environment, right? This particular process does not directly, does not go halfway to your product, but it just directly takes it to the production environment, and then it directly deploys it onto the product, right? This seamless particular automation from code commit to product deployment enables organizations to accelerate the feedback loop with end users, right? And ensures rapid iteration and improves its response to user needs and market demands, right? So no matter how demanding a certain market is, the moment you deploy DevOps and CI/CD inside your organization, your delivery of software, delivery of products become efficient, becomes reliable, and becomes as fast as possible for your end customers to either give feedback or to enjoy the piece of product that you are providing them at the end of the day. That's some interesting concept about DevOps and CI/CD, right? And this is more or less very much of a basic part of it. I believe you guys must be completely aware of what the entire process of DevOps is at the end of the day in your organization. Every organization has their own process of DevOps and CI/CD, but the core of it, everything remains the same, which is basically deploying a certain piece of software into your repository, directly sending it to the production environment, deploying it on the product, testing it directly, and deploying it for the end users to enjoy, right? Amazing. Let's move on to next part of it, which is the role of automated testing in DevOps, which is used for ensuring quality and speed at the end for your end customers, right? Automated testing plays a vital role, pivotal or a vital role at the end of the day in DevOps and CI/CD framework. It kind of acts as cornerstone for achieving the core objective of these methodologies. In DevOps, the goal is to unify software development and software operations, right? Which necessitates a feeling of seamless, efficient, and continuous flow of work for development from development to deployment, right? Automated testing fits perfectly into this model by providing rapid, consistent, and reliable testing of software throughout its development lifecycle. By automated testing the testing processes, organizations can ensure that each integration and deployment is tested throughoutly without significantly slowing down the development process, right? So you are kind of taking a risk, or rather, you are avoiding a certain level of risk by deploying your application or your code directly on the production environment and testing it across your entire DevOps cycle, right? This is essential for maintaining the high pace of development that DevOps aims to achieve, right? While also ensuring that the software remains of high quality and free from critical bugs, right? And this usually happens when you are testing every piece of code that is being deployed in your repository across your entire DevOps lifecycle, right? What are the, imagine you deploy a certain piece of code in your repository, and you immediately take a certain platform or like HeadSpin and test those particular piece of code, test those particular piece of code on your product directly, and then deploy it for your users to use at the end of the day by ensuring that the application works seamlessly along with its user experience is amazing, right? So this kind of reduces immense level of hassle for you as a developer, as a tester, as a SRE person, as a DevOps person at the end of the day, and make sure that your users are having an amazing experience on your applications, right? What happens when you are fast tracking the process of application testing? There are four critical things that happens at the end of the day for your end users, which is you'll be able to test in market on real devices and networks with the help of HeadSpin platform, right? So imagine you want to test these particular, your code deployment or applications on a Samsung device in India, some part of India. Your users in Bangalore, India, are using your application, and you want to test the experience of your applications on real devices, which is a Samsung device, iPhone device, any device, and test across your own markets, which is Bangalore, right? You'll be able to do that directly during your entire DevOps testing and deployment lifecycle, right? Along with that, there is a lot of advantage in testing, not just the non-functional, but the functional performance testing of your applications, right? Basically, the stress testing, load testing, and other part of it, which will be essential for your application to be tested on when your users are increasing on a daily basis for those particular applications, right? And again, AI being an amazing or emerging part of everything that we are doing right now, right from development to testing, to deployment, to everything that you're doing on your applications is being integrated with AI part of everything that is happening out there, right? And along with that, why not test your applications with a certain AI engine, right? If your development is happening with the help of AI engines, why not test those applications again with the help of efficient AI engines that HeadSpin is providing, right? These particular AI engines predict the amount of issues that your application might be having, and then give you a quick view around how to reduce these particular issues or recommend resolutions and RCA for these particular issues on your applications, right? And also, how about all of your teams, the QA and engineering teams, the DevOps teams, and the SRE teams are collaborating together across the entire DevOps lifecycle, right from building a certain vision for testing and development to building those applications, to testing those applications, improving those applications across these two steps, deploying those applications and scaling and monitoring their performance together, right? So basically, the QA and engineering teams are there for building and testing your applications and continuously improving the process of your applications with the help of deployment, and testing, right? It's not just deployment testing and of the functional test, but automated functional and performance quality of assurance can be done on the HeadSpin platform, right? With the help of performance-centric development, you'll be able to improve the performance of your applications as well, and the functional part of your applications as well, by collaborating together with the QA, engineering, DevOps, and SRE teams on our platform, right? And also, for the DevOps teams, during the deployment phase, we'll be able to test continuously and integrate continuously. Along with that, develop continuously on those applications, right? So imagine the development, the testing, and the integration and the monitoring part is happening continuously with the help of only one tool, right? And that tool is being collaboratively used across all the teams that your organization has, right? It does not require any sort of modifications for a certain team, or rather, calibration for a certain team, but a single software piece, a single platform can be used across all the collaborative teams that your organization has and integrate inside your DevOps lifecycle, right? To be honest, in a CI/CD pipeline, automated testing is critical for enabling continuous integration and continuous deployment, of course, right? Every time a developer commits code to the repository, the CI/CD pipeline automatically triggers a series of tests, right? Which is on the HeadSpin platform on the new code. right? The amount of time you deploy a certain new code on your applications, it directly goes to our platform, and we test those particular piece of code on your platform, on your applications, on your web browsers, and test the efficiency of those particular new code that you have committed. Right? This immediate feedback on the code's quality and functionality helps in identifying and resolving issues early in the development cycle, right? Imagine today you deploy a certain piece of code on your application, and your end users face again those same problems that they were facing before you deploying those particular applications, right? Those particular code, right? And now imagine introducing a small piece of platform across those development cycles, across those particular deployment of code cycles, and then letting your users use those particular platforms after you test those particular piece of codes, right? So this particular continuous development, continuous testing, and continuous integrating part has been a vital role across your DevOps cycle with the help of HeadSpin platform, right? And again, this continuous and automated validation ensures that the software is always in a state that can be deployed for production, aligning perfectly with the CI/CD philosophy, maintaining a deployable product all the time, right? At all times, of course, right? So it doesn't matter when you are testing your application and how many times you are deploying a new code, it will continuously be tested on the platform, which we are providing as a part of HeadSpin's environment. And then your users will be able to use it seamlessly without having any complaints on the new build that you have done on your application, right? This is more or less like a regression analysis of your application, so that the amount of time you build, or rather the last build that you have done, you compare those particular builds and understand, okay, these were the issues that our users were having when we had committed the software and when we hadn't committed those particular piece of software, right? This might be sounding a bit complex and a bit interesting, but I believe if you feel like if you want to have a certain demo of our platform, please do feel free to reach out, right? Let's move ahead a little bit. Okay, this is an interesting slide. I personally am a fan of this particular slide. That's a rare for me, to be honest. I have been a fan of a lot of things, but being a fan of this particular slide is something else for me, right? Now imagine there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 processes across a certain DevOps cycle, right? Certain CI/CD integration cycle, which involves planning of the code, planning of the particular entire life cycle of DevOps and CI/CD, right? And then coding part of it, the actual execution part of your code, which is usually done by developers, right? And then you have built the entire platform with the help of all the code that you have done. Test those particular codes, those particular new builds, those particular new piece of software that you have built for the application. Release those particular builds, deploy it on your platform, on your applications, operate those particular deployments, integrate them, and then monitor the performance at the end of the day, right? Across these 8 different pillars of cycle that a certain CI/CD or a DevOps cycle goes through, HeadSpin's platform helps you across the 4 critical parts or 4 critical pillars of it, right? Let me explain you. The first part, planning. Let's exclude that. Let's talk about coding, right? The number of times you are committing a certain code, it will be taken back to your repository and then tested with the help of HeadSpin platform, right? During the initial coding phase, developers can use HeadSpin to test local development builds, right? On real devices within the HeadSpin environment, right? Imagine the amount of time you code, everything will be tested on real devices, on real networks and real locations, and within the environment that you would prefer, right? It could be on-prem, it could be on cloud as well, it could be on a shared device model, whatever you prefer, right? This pre-commit testing helps identifying issues before the code is committed, right? Before even the code is committed on your applications, these pre-committed issues can be identified, right? And at the end of the day, before the integration of HeadSpin at this stage aligns with the plan to enhance code quality, right, and minimize bug impact, offering an authentic testing environment that reflects real user conditions. And who particularly uses this particular steps? It's usually developers who will be benefiting from this particular software or this particular platform that HeadSpin is providing, right? let's go to next step, which is the test stage, right? Which is again a critical part of what we do, what you guys do, and everything that we have been talking about until now, right? As the code moves to the build phase and is prepared for testing, QA and testers can utilize the HeadSpin platform, using regression intelligence, right? And to perform automated build analysis, right? The amount of time you want to test these particular applications will help you scale those number of tests that you're performing on those applications, and perform regression analysis by testing the builds that you have done previously, and the builds that you have done today, and the builds that you might be doing in future as well on your applications, and comparing the performance across all these builds, right? On just the same environment that you have tested the code on, right? The platform capability allows for rapid feedback for developers, promoting collaboration and enabling easy escalation of issues back to the development team if needed, right? By providing comprehensive session analysis on the HeadSpin platform, we ensure that the testing is thorough and reflective of end user environment, right? So that you'll be able to easily escalate the development processes and understand which particular code part of your application or your product is failing, right? The next one is the deploy stage. Before the release, as the code is deployed to staging environment, HeadSpin's real-world devices environment testing comes into play, right? It allows we kind of allow the DevOps teams and regional testers to validate the build using regression intelligence, right? This steps is crucial to ensure that the deployment is sound and the software behaves as expected across various devices and regions, which is imperative for global applications, right? So this is more or less a deploy stage. Basically, when you are planning to deploy these particular code of software on your applications, the users like DevOps and regional testers will be able to validate the performance of your application using regression intelligence, and then at the end of the day deploy these particular software pieces on your applications, right? Next stage, which is the monitor stage, right? And after deployment, the operation phase involves monitoring the application performance and stability, right? Basically, site reliability teams, which is more or less the SRE teams, which are quite popular in applications like Netflix and Amazon Prime, and high-end applications which require a great site reliability, which is again a great example, which is Hotstar, which we have seen during the World Cups, right? These teams can leverage HeadSpin for synthetic monitoring and alerting, right? Imagine the amount of times these particular software pieces are failing, or those particular there is a small issue with your code. Those particular small issues are directly alerted and given back to your developer teams so that they can quickly resolve those particular issues and give back to the deployment monitor phase to again test your application, or rather deploy your applications for your end users, right? So the platform ability to conduct quick root cause analysis again helps in reducing the mean time to resolution, which is MTTR of your application deployment, and that ensures any issue post deployment are identified and resolved swiftly, right? This is an interesting piece that I have always been banking on, right? That no matter what phase of your CI/CD pipeline, no matter what phase of DevOps cycle, you should be able to test your applications, test the piece of code, and test the deployment and the test and monitor those applications to reduce the mean time to resolutions of your application, and reduce the increase the faster deployment processes or faster time to market as well, right? Now, throughout the entire CI/CD pipeline, HeadSpin facilitates continuous improvement and release by providing actionable insights, right? Promotes rapid iterations and ensures that the application performs optimally in real-world conditions. By harnessing HeadSpin capabilities, teams can monitor service reliability, basically the reliability of your applications, and gather data essentially for continuous system resiliency and keep the software robust and user-centric, right? That's the core of it. To be honest, at the end of the day, you want to ensure that your applications are very much user-centric and they are providing or rather they are satisfying the need, satisfying the whole purpose of your application for your users without having any crashes, without having any lags, without having any glitches on the application by testing them continuously and deploying them continuously, right? That's some interesting piece. Let's move on to our next slide, which is HeadSpin and autonomous testing tool integration, right? We have heard that what kind of, now you must have heard a lot about our integrations, or rather the integration part of what we do, which particular software tools that we integrate with. And I must say a lot of you in testing and in DevOps must have worked across the tools that you see on your screen right now, right? Appium being one of the primary tools that we integrate with and being used for a lot of testing of applications out there at mobile applications. And then you have Tosca, Espresso, Leaper, Triton Test IM, and Selenium as well, right? There are 4 steps that are carried out on these particular platforms, and the entire execution is basically taken care by HeadSpin, right? Imagine these particular platforms taking care of the automated business abstraction of suite, right? Basically, automation tools extract the business definition of application under test and create models, right? And then these models are designed the user flows or test cases leveraging the model created initially, right? The entire test case creation part is taken care by these softwares, which HeadSpin integrates with, right? We add the test data to the source and ingest the data into the design test cases and user flows as well, which is basically the test data management part. And this test data management also taken care by tools that you see, listed below, right? And then you create test suites for end-to-end testing, for instance, instant regression suite, smoke test, or smoke suites to run execution seamlessly. So automated business abstraction of suites, test case and user flow designing, test data management, and execution-ready test suites are entirely taken care by the softwares or the automation tools that HeadSpin integrates with. And the entire test execution part of it, basically the dashboarding, the integration with test management tools and the report generation is taken care by HeadSpin platform, right? So at the end of the day, you don't have to do a lot of things. You just have to integrate. We'll help you integrate these particular platforms with HeadSpin. You just have to create the test cases with using these platforms, right? And the HeadSpin platform will, at the end of the day, take all of these test suites, test execution part, and then execute tests on your applications to give you a comprehensive view around what kind of issues your application is having, right? Now, these tools are more or less no-code or low-code automation tools that you can use to deploy across your entire CI/CD pipeline and test across every step of the CI/CD integration, right? Right from coding, testing, deployment, and monitoring, right? Across all those 4 processes, these tools will be essential and can be used, can be tested, and executed on the HeadSpin platform seamlessly. So that at the end of the day, you do minimum of the work and maximum of the output from the platform, right? That's an interesting concept. Any questions, by the way? I have been talking for a while now. If there are any questions, please do let me know. I see there are 6 questions. Okay. Very interesting. These are some of those interesting. Will HeadSpin provide auto healing capability? Can we integrate it with existing Selenium framework? Yes, we will be able to integrate with existing Selenium framework. For example, I'll give you an example, Saurabh. If you are already having some sort of scripts ready in terms of Selenium framework, you'll be able to migrate those tools on the HeadSpin platform and test those particular frameworks again by integrating it either from some other framework or from Selenium itself on the platform and test those particular applications or test those particular platform that you want to test, right? With auto healing capability, I would be able to understand more about this, to be honest, if you would be able to help me with that. But yes, if you want to integrate it with the existing Selenium framework, it is possible with the HeadSpin platform, right? Is it recommended to use emulators, simulators for CI/CD pipeline? To be honest, emulators and simulators for CI/CD pipeline are usually used across a lot of organizations, but HeadSpin uses real devices and real networks, real locations for testing those particular applications. Usually, emulators and simulators do not really give out the real environment effect or real environment, understanding of those particular applications. And you won't be able to replicate the same user conditions or test conditions as you are using it on emulators and simulators as you would want on real devices, right? So it's a bit up and down game, to be honest. So make sure you use real devices in case of testing your applications. If not, then emulators, simulators, if could be preferred. But please do not prefer emulators, simulators, since real devices are the right way to go ahead, right? Okay, auto healing is if any locators are getting failed, they will be get healed automatically. That's an interesting concept. But yes, I believe with Selenium, it would be possible. You would be able to automatically heal those particular locators, or rather set alerts and watches for those particular locators, and then understand which particular issues are failing, and then can be deployed on the platform. Can we integrate HeadSpin with Sauce Labs and pCloudy? Unfortunately, we may not be, because Sauce Labs and pCloudy are completely different platforms, and HeadSpin is a completely different platform. You might call us as three different platforms, right? HeadSpin is a real device testing platform, which is used for which uses its AI engine for testing your applications and your platforms and your web browsers. Sauce Lab is basically a similar platform, but it's used differently, and pCloud is used differently. So it's more or less a competitor game here, but we do not integrate with Sauce Labs and pCloud. That made me wonder if your AI could help test user experience too for a specific demography, as how different groups use something varies. Oh, okay. If your AI could help test user experience too for a specific demographic, as how different groups use specific varies. That's an interesting concept. For example, if you're asking me in a sense, Nishan, for example, if you're asking me in a sense that your certain users are using your application in Bangalore, certain users are using your application in Mumbai, right? And the usage across these two demographics are different, or maybe even age groups as well, right? And these are the user experience issues, that some of these issues might be occurring for those particular demographics, some might not be occurring for your Bangalore demographic, right? And would our AI be able to detect those issues? Unfortunately, we don't do real-time issue identification for your applications or for your softwares, but we do a real-time analysis of your applications at the core of it, right? The backend and the front end of your applications, and understand how your application is being utilized, right? Not really in the sense that your applications are being utilized or behaving in a certain way for a certain group, and behaving in a certain way and certain issues, and that's the difference about testing for us, right? Next question. Okay, Sumit, I will take this up, to be honest, to my leadership and let them know, because this is more or less very critical for us. And thank you for bringing up this to us. And I'll note this particular thing down. Please hold on. Just give me a moment. I should be noting this down, because this is critical question, and this is very much necessary for us to resolve. Thank you so much for bringing it up to us, Sumit. Okay, so now, is there any recommendation on the length of automated smoke test suites, like 15-30 minutes, and regression suites like 1 hour, 2 hour? Depends on size of application that runs on. It usually depends on the size of your application, Soru, because these particular applications, or rather the amount of code that your application is built on, or the amount of user journeys that your application requires, the complex user journeys that your application involves, the regression kind of involves, or rather depends on those particular factors. But usually regression suites doesn't take more than 1 or 2 hours for execution, and even smoke test doesn't take more than 50 to 30 minutes, right? Usually the length remains the same for most of these cases, but and also kind of depends on the environment that you're testing, the amount of test cases involved, and the regression that is as heavy as possible, right? So it's usually 1 hour for regression suites and 15-30 minutes for smoke test, right? Okay, Robin, as an enterprise client, will it be possible for HeadSpin to provide device in private model? That is, these devices should only be used for one enterprise and should be cleaned and reshared with other after the users. Do you have support in Middle East? Yes, that's a great question, Robin. As an enterprise guys, we do support enterprise tools applications, right? For example, Tosca as well, right? For testing those enterprise applications. And it is possible to provide device in private model. For example, we provide two different models, right? On-prem model and cloud model, right? In on-prem model, we'll give you entire access to the platform and the infrastructure in your own data centers or in your own labs, right? Our devices are shipped to your labs and you'll be able to entirely control these particular devices that you would want to test and understand how these user journeys are being carried on and test those applications 24/7 as much as you prefer and however you prefer, right? So, and as we are kind of expanding into Middle East and Asia Pacific, we have a great presence there as well. With clients like Etisalat and other, we have a great presence in Middle East as well and Asia Pacific as well, right? So please do let us know. Yes, of course, support as in data center. Yes, we provide our support in your own data centers, and we provide our on-prem facility in your own data centers so that you test your application isolated, test in your own environment, and test under your own testers and QA teams, right? Robin, if you would want to know more about us, and maybe even you can DM me on LinkedIn, DM me on mail me on my mail ID. We'll be happy to talk to you more about this, right? Thank you. Next is we have multiple automation frameworks onboarded with Selenium. Is integration with ADO, Azure DevOps integration is seamless, and do we need some extra configuration? I believe we kind of operate on AWS platform, right? And I'd like to know more about this particular question. I'm noting this down. If Apurva, if you could just note down the next question by Saurabh, we have multiple automation frameworks onboarded with Selenium. Is integration with ADO, Azure DevOps integration is seamless, or do we need some extra configuration? I believe we don't need a lot of configuration there. But if in case the DevOps integration cycle is changing, we might need some of the other integration factors or migration things to be made sure, and then we may be able to test. But thanks for the question, Saurabh. Is edge cloud a futuristic requirement in this area of play? In case we can collaborate or co-create, even plan to join GTM to build a scalable platform, serve potential set for customers. We are in discussion with a lot of edge clouds and futuristic requirement for these particular environment, Nishan. We would love to discuss this particular thing, or rather have a joint GTM if possible. Just let us know your collaborative efforts. Just let us know what ideas that you are coming up with, and if in case possible, we can set up a quick discussion with our leadership as well, right? Happy to take this forward, Nishan. Any other questions? Okay. Sorry, I might have missed a lot of questions. Okay. How does HeadSpin ensure the security of the testing data, especially when dealing with sensitive information? That's an interesting question, right? Basically, HeadSpin kind of places a very high priority on data security, to be honest, right? We provide your private instance of AWS, and then we don't give away your data, of course, to anybody, neither your own testers, because unless you provide authority to those particular testers, we won't be able to share any type of data to those particular users of the platform, right? For example, we employ robust encryption protocols for data in transit at the rest, right? Access control and authentication mechanism are in place to ensure that only authorized personals can access the data and the platform. We kind of have regular security checks on the platform as well, right? Almost once in 7 days. And we are compliant with SOC2 and a lot of other compliance softwares of platforms, so that we provide industry standard security for your platforms and your applications at the end of the day, right? That's the highest level of security we provide, because even in on-prem, you do get a lot of security. Even in cloud, even on shared models, you do the highest level of security for your applications and testing environment, right? Any other questions in line from our viewers here? We have multiple automation frameworks onboarded. Okay, can HeadSpin integrate with GitLab CICD? Yes. Will it require an APK or IPA link? I will have to ensure this particular thing from my testers or for my internal professional team, Sonu. But yes, we do integrate with GitLab CICD platforms, meaning CICD jobs will need to push latest APK IPA to link every time. Oh, okay. So your latest APKs will be directly linked to our platform, and you will be able to test these particular platform by integrating with the GitLab CI/CD environment that you are using for your platform, right? So integration with not just GitLab, but we do integration with Espresso tools. We do integration with your other integration platforms. Like, let me give you an example. I'll just give you an example of the integrations that we do. Sorry, I'm taking good amount of time, but these are some of the interesting questions that Sonu has asked. So I'll have to give you that platform to answer those questions. But not just GitLab, but we do integrate with JUnit, we integrate with JMeter for load testing. We integrate with Cucumber, we integrate with UI Automator. There are other platforms like Flutter as well. Flutter are usually used for game testing, game environment development, right? And then you have Playwright as well. So GitLab, Azure, GitHub, Jenkins, all of these platforms. Especially recently, we have run a great POC for a certain customer who were using Jenkins in their CI/CD pipeline, in their workflow. And then we utilize Jenkins directly to test those particular builds that they were doing on Jenkins and then integrate with their platform to test during their deployment processes, right? So yes, we do integrate with GitLab. Okay. Okay, I believe these are the questions right now we have. We'll take some more questions. Later on, we'll jump to our last part of our deck, the last slide. I believe we don't have a lot of time. We'll just have 2-3 minutes for this. But these are some of the integration that Sonu, Sonu, you have asked, or some of our user viewers that we see here, right? So HeadSpin covers the essential part of test automation, device farm, video and audio quality of experience analysis, AI analysis engine for assuring optimal user quality of experience, and then in-depth performance data, response time, call stack, and packet level data can also be analyzed on the platform. Along with that, we do a lot of large-scale pass-fail reporting, which is more or less the functional testing part of your applications. And then we do a lot of real user monitoring, basically testing on real devices, testing on real locations, and testing across real environments as well, right? Real networks, right? We do bare metal SIM card devices and test on those particular applications or devices, right? Along with that, we integrate with a lot of load testing tools or test authorizing or management tools, which is the Micro Focus or even JMeter for load testing. And it is more or less an API-based integration to these particular application frameworks, right? Next, we integrate with a lot of CI/CD pipelines, as you mentioned, Sonu, which is Jenkins, Puppet, and GitHub and Jira as well. Interestingly, we have recently started integrating with Jira because we have secured funding round from Atlassian, right? That is how we were able to manage those particular integrations, and then now we are directly sending those Jira tickets from our HeadSpin platform to your development testers, so that immediate resolution of these particular issues on those applications and platforms or your software deployments can be done right away by integrating it with Jira, right? Imagine your entire team of DevOps is using Jira for managing or rather maintaining the test issues that your application is having. But these particular test issues, if automated with HeadSpin platform, those issues are directly sent from the HeadSpin platform to your Jira ticket, and the resolution directly occurs on the HeadSpin platform by linking these two particular platforms together. Right? Isn't that interesting, right? The entire orchestration occurs with the help of HeadSpin and Jira integration. Interesting. Any more questions, to be honest, because we are almost at the end of our session webinar. I'm sorry, I must have taken a lot of your time, but this was interesting to talk and interesting to discuss. How does the application handle exceptions and error within automated processes, right? Shwetang, imagine you test a certain application, right, on the HeadSpin platform, and a lot of issues you see occurring on those particular applications, right? these issues are directly given out on the platform when you test those particular applications with the help of issue cards, right? Moment you test these applications, you will get a list of issue cards that your application is having, right? And then these issue cards will give out the amount of occurrences, the number of occurrences on the platform, and where exactly these issues are occurring on your applications, right? Now, you'll be able to mark those instances of where exactly these issues are occurring, and those instances will be directly linked to your Jira or your GitHub or your Jenkins, so that immediate resolution occurs. Now, with the automated process, everything happens with the help of automation platforms, Appium, Selenium, and even Tosca, right? So the automated identification of these issues occurs, and you'll be able to get automated alerts around where exactly these particular issues are occurring, right? Not a lot of things can be done manually, but a lot of things can also be done automatically, right? So everything that you're doing with manual use cases or manual processes can also be done with automated processes at a large scale, right? And we have internal watchers and alerts for your testers, for your developers, so that immediate resolution occurs, right? Okay, any more questions? More than 85. Oh my, these are amazing participants here. Thank you so much for attending a session with me today. Thank you so much for asking all the questions. We'd like to collaborate if in case possible. Please let us know. Please, provide your feedback as well. And please contact us if possible. Thank you so much for giving your 1 hour of your Tuesday. It's a nerdy morning for all of us. And have a great winter. Have a great week ahead. And take care. Thank you so much.